All right, guys, welcome back to the ESL One North American Qualifier here in Burbank, California. Joining me again is Blue and Sadakis. Next matchup, we're going to see Team Liquid face off Cloud9. Cloud9 obviously are beating Noble Esports earlier today, and then we just saw Team Liquid take out Tempo Storm in that matchup. Now, Sadakis, what did you see out of Team Liquid in that matchup that you think they can do well against Cloud9?
Well, again, it comes down to the entries. Obviously, we talked about the retakes and post-plant being an issue, but the entries were still enabling them to get to that position, right, whether they were winning the round or not. So if they can continue with that much potency on their entrance, then they have a chance. If they can continue to get bomb plants as they were and keep the economy rolling in their favor, then yes, they have a decent chance on their T side against Cloud9. I think that's the biggest thing, is that the aim is on right now. Nitro's looking good. That was the biggest point for me.
Right, and actually we saw the interview where you asked Adren specifically about his opping, and now he talked about he doesn't like to op on that T side, doesn't necessarily want to, but he will. Now he's going up against Skadoodle on Dust2 of all maps.
Now it's definitely going to be a pretty solid, at least on the T side there, where he's probably going to stick to the rifle roll and try to shy away from the opper just to keep it safe there, as obviously it's Skadoodle, so that speaks for itself again.
Right, and that was interesting because Adren actually said, I give free reign to Nitro. If he wants to pick up the AWP on the T side, he's more than welcome to. So that's kind of interesting that Adren, normally in that position, he said he doesn't like in-game leading with an AWP, but I mean, this is the tough task because this is Cloud9 now, the favorites of the tournament.
And it's almost like it's hard to make this comparison directly, but it's almost like a simple approach, as in simple to player, not simple as in basic.
Right.
With Nitro, in that he has that option if he wants it on the entry on the T side, because simple obviously will make that call occasionally when he was with Flipside to say, listen, I think I can find an open and give me the op T side and go with it. But I do like that they aren't relying on it, so to speak, that they do have that approach. And you mentioned it last game, that it gives them that ability to buy a little bit more frequently in those situations where they're on the brink, but we can't get the op, we need the op, let's save one more, and then you potentially throw away another round that you could have forced into and picked up, right? So it gives them a little bit more, I guess, just consistency on their T side in that sense.
Yeah, and now we see you have Cloud9 up on the screen. Now, this is a team earlier that Sean said they wanted to play the open maps. They wanted to play the maps that were going to let them have these duels. And now that was after a match against Noble. So, I mean, they got one. This is Dust2 is the map that's known to be a death match at points. So, I mean, Blue, they're going to have plenty of opportunities to get into some aim fights with these Team Liquid members.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen these two teams before when they played this map in the past. They've traded blows quite a bit. In fact, we've seen substantial kind of differentials in the scores we've seen between Liquid and Cloud9 playing on Dust2 in the past. So I think the two more recent matches we saw it go 16-4 both ways, but on both of those matches it was either team coming out on top. So this map is probably a pretty good pick, because I would think a lot of people would favor Cloud9 in this matchup, but Liquid have shown a pretty strong roster, or have shown a pretty strong game so far on Dust2 in the past.
Yeah, well, and Dust2 has become kind of, between Cash and Dust2, this has kind of become a flagship map for Cloud9. This is a map they really, really enjoy playing. They've put up some really good performances on against strong teams. The one issue that, we've always noticed is sometimes their mid presence on this map is a little bit, iffy at times. So that's something that Liquid can really take advantage of.
And I think that's a fragile point in general with North American teams. Right now, I would say Cloud9 would be the best example, because the Europeans have now sort of gone back toward Catwalk, and the rotation point between CT, I know you're going to hate me because I'm going to make a TSM reference, but you look at Zipnix, who rotates quite frequently between those positions. I had to go there before this day was, before we even hit noon. Like, come on, we got to get there.
Yeah, I expected
with the TSM reference. But no, the mid to B used to be so common, but now more and more teams in European divisions are looking back to that catwalk because of the way the meta's progressed. And Cloud9 kind of play both sides of the pond, where they're still seeing both. So there's, I guess, just a little bit less familiarity with the game styles in terms of how people are approaching that. So I think Cloud9's mid is actually, it is a point of contention, but I think it's as a result of just seeing so many different things thrown at them lately on this map.
Well, and that's the thing. Do you think they're going to have adjusted at this point? Like, do you think they're going to have taken a look at themselves and how they've lost this map towards some of the top European teams, and say they really need to fix that coming into this matchup?
I think they definitely taken. I mean, we've talked about Sean Garris as well in the past and how strong he's been as just a team leader, and I think a lot of those losses are going to help them here. I mean, I think you mentioned this yesterday when we were in rehearsal and we were discussing Cloud9 a little bit more and talking about, like, some of these European teams, they need to get beat by them before they actually learn how to defeat them, and that can be the case here too. They've lost to Liquid quite a few times on this map, and I think as well they have a pretty good feeling as to what Liquid may be bringing out here today.
Well, yeah, and it comes to that familiarity with the interregional matchups. I mean, both teams practice against each other. Now Cloud9's been on this massive trip of the European tour that they've been on over the past 5 or 6 weeks, but these teams very knowledgeable of each other, and this is that matchup. I mean, Liquid's that team that's been vying for that second best team in North America. They want that title, but they've never been able to really solidify it. So now this is a great opportunity, a big test for what they're going to bring to us in this tournament.
I think one of the big things to keep an eye on for Liquid, though, is they did face troubles last week and they played this map against CLG, and they had a really good start on their T side, which was the first half that they ended up starting out on that matchup, and they were able to claim, I believe it was about 5 or 6 rounds before we even saw CLG get on the board in that one. But the problem was CLG at a certain point was able to get a double op setup running, and after that, unfortunately, Liquid just kind of did the same thing that they had been doing before, which was netting the 6 rounds, but it didn't work against the double op setup, and they really failed to adjust after that, so the rest of the half really didn't go their way, and unfortunately they fell really far behind in the rest of that half.
Right, now you can see we are getting into the Dust2 matchup that these two teams are going to be playing on. Sadicus, you mentioned that the catwalk was the point of contention for you. You've talked about how it's kind of developed to that point now where teams are really starting to abuse catwalks.
Yeah, well, the default is still to stack up middle and look for a pick, to look for an opening, but a lot more teams, again, used to look, it was almost by default, you would expect that smoke to land CT and then look for the mid to B split. But as a result of that, a lot of teams started going back to a 2-1-2 with more of a boosted mid presence. In fact, oftentimes 2 in middle or a swing player in the window to get right back in, inside the B site. So they put a lot more presence there, and that therefore weakens up A a little bit. So teams have reacted. They've gone toward catwalk, and we are going to start to get into this. It's just been a change. It's been an adaptation throughout the meta, and I think the Cloud9, like I say, still see both sides of it a lot.
Right. Well, we are getting into the knife round, so I'm going to leave it to you two boys. Take it away, Blue Sadicus.
All right, so as we're getting towards the end of the knife round here, Sadicus, what's your prediction for this one? Who do you think is going to end up coming out on top?
Well, Liquid's going to win the knife round at least, so Elige take that down. He had a 1-on-3, I think that was. He got 4 kills, so not bad. Let's just go with that prediction, if he can do that the whole game. No, I think Cloud9's in a good position here. I think that they should be able to pick this up again, though, like you mentioned. They have had close matchups on this map in the past. This map does allow for a lot of space to play, and Liquid's slow style on this T side could actually play in their favor again if Cloud9 get a little bit over-aggressive. There's also a lot of protection. There's choke points that CTs have to push through to get the information, more so even than Cash. Like, if you're going to go through B tunnels, you're getting into a tight, confined space that if Liquid's waiting in, they're going to punish you. Yeah. You're essentially entering onto their territory as much as you're entering into the bomb site as a terrorist. So I think that if Cloud9 do get a little bit impatient on their CT, they could get caught out, but overall, I think it's their map to take.
All right, guys, well, we are going live now with the first round, so let's get to it. Cloud9 taking on Team Liquid here. I believe the winner of this one will be moving out of the groups and moving into the semifinal, so good luck to both of these teams, and we'll see who comes out on top here as the pistol round getting started. Cloud9 on the CT side and Team Liquid on the T side. The opening push here, we are going to see a pretty big split coming out from the Liquid players, but Cloud9 as well getting a little bit aggressive with Shot and Freakazoid taking up that forward position up long. And as for Nitro and Flowsick, they will be the ones peeking them in a second. Cloud9 not really going to take a chance on going for the doors, though, and as well here, Team Liquid is going to be keeping out for that aggression here early on, as they'll hold it back a little more, but now we see them coming out, and we are going to see the trade starting off. Flowsick will take out Shroud, but Freakazoid is able to respond by finding a headshot back over onto Nitro. Flowsick as well, but keep in mind, again, this is all going to be a ruse, as the real take is going to be on a B, and Sean Garris completely leaving the B site open at this point, but I think he knows what's up as he's starting to rotate back over to that site now, so Team Liquid needs to be a little bit quicker with this because Sean Garris is going to see this one coming.
Well, that's the big thing, and that rotation did come out a little bit early, and Liquid had a bit of an opportunity when they initially started getting those trade kills on A, and that sense dissolved. And where they don't have that read anymore on the offense, they've got to regroup and reevaluate the situation because they didn't act quick enough. Sean was completely gone from B. Instead, though, up catwalk they go. It's Fugly, Adren looking for an entry. They've got the one smoke to utilize on top of the bomb site. Adren's actually going to bounce that down. This will limit Skadoodle's re-entry, but nothing's in position immediately on the site. The problem is he's only got 12 HP from the initial exchange, but he'll buy himself some time. Stay put, look for the first shot, not able to land it as Fugly jumps above and over top of the initial bullet. Now it's Skadoodle, awkward situation as the bomb going to go down for Team Liquid, but Freakazoid hot on their heels looking for a fast flank already.
Freakazoid sitting back now, and he's going to try to take off whatever he can. Does find one kill over here on the flank, but has to go for the reload, and that's going to be Adren finding the headshot to take down Freakazoid. This is brought into a 2-on-2 at this point, and again, the players here from Liquid, they have been pushed off site. Great push from Skadoodle. He's able to pick off another headshot and knock out Elige, but Adren here finding one, looking for the second, down to 1 HP at this point. And as we can see, he really just has to play this patiently here, force it back. Sean Garris, no kid at this point. Not sure if we have one on the ground or not, but it doesn't really look like he's got enough time to go for the pickup there anyway. He does get the kit, but it actually does take him down, but not enough time left to defuse that bomb. I don't think it's going to be very close, but not happening. And with that, Team Liquid are going to pick up the first round.
Close indeed, but well played by Adren. Just debate that out. Doesn't matter how much HP you've got in that situation. All you have to work with is the clock. So that'll work out well, and this means Liquid now do get a good start on the T side. Now they upgrade instantly right onto 4 rifles. 1 Galil, mind you, and of course the MP7, but it's an aggressive purchase, and I'm not disagreeing with it at all on Dust2. There's just so much open space and vast possibilities for long picks that going with the SMGs, it doesn't really get full effect.
Cloud9 as well are going to go for a couple upgrades of their own with the 2 scouts coming out from Sean Garris as well as Skadoodle. Rest are going with 5-7s at this point, and already a little bit of action going on here. So far, Cloud9 players not taking any damage at all, and nothing's actually going to pick up the first frag here. Nitro, he is able to respond to that, but now this is going to prompt the rotation to come over. Flowsick will be working up Cat, but really won't be finding anything as Cloud9 already way in there. Nitro at the meantime is fighting for control of the B site here, and he is going to get part of it, but...
And the problem as well is Flowsick went for a very long flank, and it works out for him. That was fortunate that they hadn't gone in, because Nitro was solo in the site. They had a chance to enter through, but just in the nick of time before they hit the doorway, Flowsick, coming all the way over from CT spawn, does land those 2 shots, and now it's Liquid. It's still a very good eco right now from Cloud9, doing a lot of damage to Liquid, who did go again for those 4 rifles. They've still got 2 up, but they could lose more. Nitro, he's got 21 HP, and through the door, no, it's a Dren to bail him. Well played on the crossfire.
And that's just Liquid just having a good crossfire setup there. Unfortunately, Cloud9 just didn't have enough firepower. But I mean, overall, not too bad considering the amount of kills they're able to pick up onto the Team Liquid members, bringing it down to just 2 left alive. That might spell a little bit of trouble when we get into the first gun rounds here if Team Liquid are having trouble holding off at this point.
Cloud9 going for scarce few upgrades to be ready to purchase up in the next round. Single flash for Nothing and Skadoodle. Freakazoid's made his way into the corner. Meanwhile, Elige looking for some information over on B. Does get a welcome party, but it's not overwhelming. Neither side really got the better of that. And again, Liquid just going back to this passive style to get information and try and read out exactly what Cloud9's doing, because obviously the last eco wasn't ideal, and if they have that situation again where they don't stay efficient in this one, they're only going to be able to sustain 1 gun round if they lose that against Cloud9, and then the tides turn immediately. But looking for the entry on A now. Now
they go for control of Cat here at the moment. Skadoodle is going to be trying to back up into the site, but unfortunately nobody from Cloud9 themselves actually on the A site right now. The closest player is going to be Shroud, who's actually in long, and Fugly's going to be able to find a headshot to take him down, and Elige as well picking off Skadoodle, who was back over towards CT, so they're going to drop. Keep in mind the position of Nothing at this point, though, as he still has a little bit of a presence, but unfortunately with just that pistol and 7 HP, won't be able to find too much. And Liquid with full control of the A site, it's not looking too good, and we'll probably see that 3rd round picked up from Team Liquid, and obviously a lot cleaner this time around, too.
Well, that's the big thing. I mean, because if they go into that first gun round, limited as they were, then the potential for disaster and an economy turn would be so sufficient and so quick that it would be a problem. And now it's going to be all 5 alive. That's a perfect turnaround.
And as we head to the buys here, we'll see what Cloud9 go for the pickup on.
It's still a little bit light on Skadoodle, so they won't be going. You can't even go glass cannon at this point, so it's going to be a rifle pickup.
And Sean Garris as well. It's just so we can pick up the support grenades. Actually, just goes for the FAMAS, so we can grab a little bit more. So that's going to hurt them. And 2 players missing head armor as well. So it's definitely going to be a little bit light here.
And Dren's going to look for this early B pick very fast, as he does have the op up. He's gotten in position quickly. In fact, they haven't crossed over in time, and he gets the first shot. And not only that, Fugly's in a very forward position, so he could have entered quickly, but it's Freakazoid to stop them on the way through. Well done by him, and Nothing, he'll contribute as well. Down goes Flowsick, and it's left to just Elige and Nitro.
Bomb is down at this point, and Nitro trying to take control of those tunnels and get control of the bomb back. Elige as well, going for that spray. Finds one and a second headshot on the Skadoodle to take him down, so they bring this into a 2-on-2. Now Nitro as well, still holding back a little bit, waiting for his teammate to get into a better position, so he's going to smoke this one off. But keep in mind here, now Elige is with him as well, and still a minute left, so plenty of time to play this. But the trade comes out, it brings it into a 1-on-1, and Freakazoid's going to end up coming out on top there, finding the headshot onto Elige, and Cloud9 pick up the first gun round.
Well done by Freakazoid, staying efficient all that while too, because not only was he the initial counter-entry kill after Dren got that pick, he stays alive and wins out in the 1-on-1, so really good hold for him on B. Now that's encouraging as well, because we talked about a little bit that shift in the meta and how they have to develop more of a mid-presence if they start to lose on the B site. If Freak can contribute like that, have the confidence, and then for his teammates have the confidence in him to play him solo or without as much support system, they can strengthen their A considerably. And therefore, their mid issues that we talked about don't even really ever exist. So we'll see how Liquid respond. They do end up forcing out, but still, again, that economy wasn't fully in their favor, so the 2 Tech-9s for Elige and a Dren.
And we'll take very quick mid-control here. Pretty typical strategy for really any T-side here on Dust2 as well. They are going to be working their way back over onto Cat now. Not a lot of resistance there from Cloud9 as they position 3 of their players back over on the B side to try and counter a push. Now, keep in mind, Liquid, with how slow they play, there's a pretty big chance they may end up falling back and rotating into B. But right now, it does look like they are pretty set on moving up Cat and trying to take A control right now.
So we'll see what Skadoodle's going to do to respond.
The rest of Team Liquid here as well, regrouping now, getting themselves all stacked up for one big push, but the problem is this is taking a long time, and Cloud9 are getting a little bit more nervous of this one, and as the take starts off, but Fugly, he is going to find one shot, and the Cat take is on as well. They're moving on to A. The players from Cloud9, they don't have any say in this site right now. Nothing is back over towards CT at this point, but we are going to see him get a nice peek, and he does manage to take down Flowsick. Now this is going to prompt the push from Skadoodle and Shroud. They push up from long, and as well, they do have a little bit of smoke to support them at this point as they all take control of the Cat, and we're going to see Sean Garris, he's going to be able to pick up another frag. He takes out a Dren, moving into this point now as well. Sean Garrett spotting another one, but Nitro responds, as does Fugly. Brings us into a 2-on-1, all on nothing at this point, and unfortunately there's a pretty nasty crossfire working from the Liquid players, so it's not looking too good, but we have to see what he can pull off here, as he does have a kid as well.
Really good smoke execution. Bit of a glitch in that window, so it doesn't bounce correctly. Thank you very much, physics. But bit of a really good smoke entry by Liquid. Yes, there wasn't great firepower. We saw that Skadoodle only was limited to the 5-7, but the 2 smokes out on top of the platform allowed, like you said, that cat control to come in so swiftly. So Liquid looking fairly solid here as they respond back immediately, and as a result, Cloud9, they weren't even in a position to get Skadoodle's op out in the first gun round. Forcing there down to very little to work with. Nothing's going to have this M4, but we'll see what he can possibly do with it. As B looks to be the name of the game, and a quick B at that for Liquid.
Fugly will hold back over towards mid just to watch out and see if there'll be any push, but they're pushing out here so quickly. It's going to be Nitro that leads the charge, but Sean Garrison, nothing again, picking up the first 2 frags. Legion Fugly were able to respond to this. Nothing is well stuck by the box, but look at how heavily lit these players here on Team Liquid are. He picks up those 2 frags very easily, and now all down to Fugly, who was sitting back behind. And we'll see if he can find anything else, but in a 1-on-3 here, and as well, no nades to his name. It's going to be looking a little bit rough, but he does find one. Unfortunately, however, he is getting flanked right now.
It's a double flank, and he's not going to be prepared. If he gets around the corner just in time, he does. He might buy himself the space. Now he's going to have to know on the timing there's a chance for this, but he would definitely not expect that there's 2 coming that direction. And he's playing so timidly because that bomb as well is in the vision of the doorway, but as he goes through window, he's going to realize there's no one else there, and as they re-enter onto B, he's got them both spotted up, but Freakazoid still holds true. Cloud9 answer back. And a very good round considering how that started and how their economies transpired at the beginning of that. So double AK picked up, and now we've got Skadoodle on 5. Does he go for this? In fact, does Sean Garrett even want to buy it for him so he can pick up more armor? No, in fact, he goes directly to it.
Freakazoid will end up dropping the op there for Skadoodle, so they're going to be able to pick up this full buy at this point. Team Liquid, unfortunately, are going to do a bit of an awkward force up here with the 2 Tech 9s as well as the AK, and there's a great shot from Skadoodle to start it off.
That's so clever as well, because you use the grenade, you let the animation of the gunpowder or whatever the heck you put in a grenade, I'm not 100% sure, to cover the cross, and then it's immediately dissolved so he can still go for that peek. That's very Smith style from his envious days. So a really good pick by Skadoodle.
Now again here, Liquid go for a pretty typical mid-control. Cloud9 in those very forward positions at this point, so the rotation will be very slow if we do see Liquid just go for this all-in execution like they had done a few rounds ago. Skadoodle, he's in his usual spot though to pressure with the op, and we've seen him pull off some crazy multi-kills here before, so this is going to get dangerous.
And that means that the 4 remaining players as they stack on Catwalk for Liquid just have to contend with Skadoodle. Shroud all the way down in pit, double stacking long at this point. Yes, you want long for the retake, but doesn't give Skadoodle much to work with because if they get a drop player down, never mind, it doesn't matter because Skadoodle 1, 2, and 3 over the top, missing on the 4th, but it doesn't even matter. He's going to shut this down. As Nitro, it's just a matter of time. I dare say that if they drop down, they might have had a chance to push on to Skadoodle, but not if he's going to do that.
And Sean Garrett sitting back right behind him. He's going to find out for the Nitro and take him down. No trouble at all. We talked about it right there that Skadoodle had that position that he was used to. Cloud9 full confidence in him. The rest of the teammates so far away, pushed way down long and way over on B. They had full confidence for him to hold that site, and he did it with flying colors.
That is a bit of a... Yes, they've got the confidence, and naturally so, but is a bit of a worry because, again, if they come out with more fire, more rifles, and do get a drop into CT, Skadoodle has to be weary of a second angle to cover, so Shroud would therefore have to be the player to come up from pit to cover him. Fugly this time around the corner with only the pistol. It's going to be Cloud9 to shut this down, as they do have this early, long presence, and this is more and more common. Freakazoid's going to get flashed over. They're both blinded up. First kill easily comes to him, and now it's just Nitro left.
Nitro completely blind at this point, even in that smoke. Freakazoid not able to spot him, but as the smoke fades out, pretty easy takedown there. And again, that was Cloud9. Perfect smoke and Molly set up there, just completely flustered the players from Liquid there as they tried to come out the long doors, and it worked out completely in their favor, as unfortunately nowhere to go on that round.
They do get the guns right back out, and here we go. So this is what we talked about. Rather than a Dren, he leaves Nitro, Nick, the call to go for it, and he's going to make that call. So it's going to be a different T-side op than what we saw on Cash. And Skadoodle this time, a change of approach. He's going to go for this cat boost. This will give him a little bit of vision down below. Elige needs to be careful when he comes around the corner, but the flash is adequately timed, and therefore Elige can round the corner safely.
This is going to make perfect sense here as well. Also got nothing playing this out a little bit, and there you go. Skadoodle finds that shot that we just talked about. Eliminates Elige, and now we're already down to 3 players left here from Liquid. There's Shroud again finding another frag onto these players. He's still holding Cat here as we had Skadoodle for Freakazoid, I should say, falling back a little bit. Dren is going to be able to find a headshot kill on Shroud to take him out of the picture, but now it's only Flowsick as the last player left alive here from Liquid, working a 1-on-4. Has Cat control right now, but it's so much aggression coming out through the mid doors. He can't get through there, and Cloud9 take him out easily.
I'm a little bit confused by Elige. They put so much effort into making sure he safely rounds that corner, and then he just turns around and says, I got here the first time. Well, unfortunately, the threat still existed. So Cloud9, 1 round up right now on Liquid. 4 rounds to start, though, after they took the pistol, lost the first gun, but got back into it early. Isn't too bad for them to work with.
This is
Cloud9 are starting to roll, and again, I mean, Dust2, you need T-side rounds.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is going to be another round, unfortunately, where Liquid probably won't be able to find too much here. They're splitting themselves up when they're on pistols, and they're not really finding too much luck here on their entries. Shroud already up to 2 frags here as he takes out the players that were trying to work towards long A. Push has been completely demoralized, and Shroud can even check this in a second to see. They're going to try to regroup here in middle, maybe try to go for a cat push. It looks like they actually may be able to line up to push through the mid doors right now, but they're probably not going to find anything there as Sean Garris and Skadoodle have a killer setup here, and yeah, there you have it. It's not going to go anywhere. Sean Garris finds 3 frags with some assistance coming out there earlier.
I'm really liking the adaptive play from Skadoodle as well.
Yeah, he's definitely a lot more mobile right now. He's moving around a lot, and he's acting as support for the rest of the team here, too, just acting as a kind of insurance policy in case the players that were normally positioned there end up falling.
Yeah, well, and even I wouldn't even say he's necessarily the insurance policy. They're definitely putting a lot of presence and emphasis on his presence and where he wants to play, obviously getting boosted on catwalk. And in that case, I would say Sean comes over to play the support. Because as they rush through and he's close quarters, Sean is there with the rifle just to make sure they can't get up close and personal with Skadoodle. So they are playing it very well and as a team. And again, here we're going to see a boost as Sean plays the support role for the second time.
Trying to see over that right now is, again, Liquid will take up this similar position that they did before. Shroud and Freakazoid in their normal spots, but now again we see those trades starting off. One of the players from Cloud9, that's going to be nothing, does end up falling, but Sean making up for that very easily. Now Elysian Nitro gone down, and as well here Fugly tries to find that way blindly in through the B tunnels, but that Skadoodle with a nice easy shot takes down Fugly, and now they're stuck here in mid with nowhere to run.
Nitro got so aggressive as he looked for that trade in mid, and that could have changed things massively because it would have given them a lot more map space. Instead, it's over toward A. Now, the fortunate part of this is there is only 1 player stopping them from getting into A. That's Shroud. Next closest player as Shroud gets tagged up through the box is going to be the rotation and flank from Freakazoid, but Shroud's staying alive. He's playing this perfectly, staying so efficient that by the time they find him, Freakazoid's already there, and there's his first kill as he comes back around, finding more. It's actually going to be robbed from Skadoodle with the nade, but nonetheless, good retake.
Now we see a 7-4 scoreline being brought up here by Cloud9, a pretty dominant lead, and this is what we talked about before, and we're going to see a pause here coming out, I believe, as well, just to get a, I'm assuming, tactical pause at this point here for Liquid. As unfortunately, this is the same problem that I talked about in the pregame from the CLG game, is that they had a good start, they were able to take a gun round or 2 here, but unfortunately, they're kind of just going for the same static thing in a lot of these rounds, and it's really not working out for them.
Well, and let's be fair here, in the CLG game, Liquid, individual skill-wise, were actually hitting better shots, in my opinion. They just made a lot of mistakes, as Moses pointed out, on their post-plant situations. Here, I would say this is scaling heavily in terms of individual skill. I mean, Skadoodle holding on to catwalk in that fashion was just absolutely marvelous, and they're going to run into that. That's a problem you're going to have with Cloud9 now, the way they're playing lately. And again, Freakazoid having another decent game, in fact, leading the way on 14 kills. We saw him hold down B, essentially solo, after they lost the first pick because Adren with the op was able to hit that shot through the tunnels. And when Freakazoid's on, I mean, that's just even better for Cloud9, is it not? I mean, he's the guy that a lot of people have kind of been a little bit weary about. Yes, he's had some good results, but he's had some poor ones also. So when he's on like this, it just makes everything so much more comfortable for Cloud9.
And he's almost always on in a LAN environment, and we're definitely seeing that today. He's been coming out hugely for himself and the rest of Cloud9 here, making the plays happen, and most definitely in this Liquid game. It's definitely those 2 key players that Team Liquid need to try and find out early and take them down. It's got to be Skadoodle and Freakazoid. Sean Garris as well has been pulling off a couple nice frags. Most of the time it's typically coming out because unfortunately Team Liquid just get thrown into these setups that Cloud9 have going for them, but the big impact frags for the most part are coming out easily from Skadoodle and Freakazoid.
And again, it's good to see Sean getting some kills. They're going to go for this fast peek again, but this time instead there is a smoke, so Shroud is going to have to go through solo. That doesn't allow Skadoodle that same line of sight, but it does allow him to throw a touchdown pass to assist his friend who's gone through, and Shroud, although he's left with 10 HP, picks up the second kill on Flowsick. Really well played again. Could have been risky there for Shroud, but it still pulls off.
I'm not sure if they've noticed, but they've actually got the bomb down here too now as well. So Fugly's trying to move over to pick that up, but unfortunately Skadoodle and Nothing have such clear sight. And Adren is actually able to take control of the A site right now, so that is probably going to pull a couple of the Cloud9 players away, but Nothing will get aggressive, and yeah.
There's no need to rotate away. He may have control of the A site, but the A site's irrelevant if that bomb's down and Nothing's got control of it. So his teammates should naturally just come over to support him and make sure they can't do it. In fact, yeah, look, Adren has to come back now because Fugly can't do anything.
And he's moving back over to support. Fugly kind of stuck over here in Suicide at this point. He's going to push through. Not sure if he's realized Nothing's pushed up at this point, but Nothing at a completely wrong angle. Skadoodle, of course, there to correct that very quickly. Takes him down, and now Adren, fortunately, again, he's going to run into a killer spray angle here from the Cloud9 players, and not a lot of hope for him to pick up that bomb and plant it at this point.
Shroud's looking toward Cat from lower. The only one with direct eyes on the bomb is Skadoodle, and that's the last person in the world you want, but he actually steps a little bit too soon, so that shot whiffed over to the left. Does allow Adren to pick it up. Smoke to allow him to potentially cross back over to long. He's got 28 seconds, so it's going to be tight for time, and very unlikely this is going to transpire into anything for him. And in fact, he wants to go cat. Skadoodle's going to find him before he even gets there.
And there we have it now. Cloud9 again taking a strong power in this match, and just
look at the economy as well for them.
Oh yeah, and that time it was just, you can definitely warrant a play like we saw in the last round for that too. Just a blind push essentially there through the mid doors, and it works out great. We saw the nade setup coming there. They were lucky as well to catch the players that were pushing through Suicide from Liquid, and then you just had Shroud in a great position to spray the remainders down. And I will see the push coming out here from Team Liquid as they are going to once again go back over here to try and take control of the middle area. As for Cloud9, they've actually positioned forward over here by the A site, and they're going to get into a pretty good position to try to counter on a cat push, which is exactly what's coming out from Liquid. Nobody on site, though, so it could get a little messy as Shroud moves further up long to watch out.
Skaz at car. This is the big thing, is he still has the angle covered. And this time he's got nothing closer to support, so there won't be a Lemon Dog strat where they drop down. And here it is. Skaz forced off with the flash a little bit, still gets the first shot on Fugly, and now Nothing will come back out to support, gets the shot on Elise. That's perfect play from Cloud9, and Nothing, he's going to find the second one as well onto Flowsick.
Dread and Nitro trying to see what they can pick up here, but at the end of the day, it's now Skadoodle in a position. He finds the last two, and again now, that's just another round being racked up onto the board for Cloud9. I think at this point here, too, with the money, look at this, 2 players now at max cash. That's Sean Garris and Skadoodle with too much money at this point, having to try and find a way to drop it, but with essentially no players going down here, they don't...
Yeah. Around 14, it doesn't even matter. They're not going to break Nothing, but if this was earlier, you drop a gun for Nothing here and there so that you can at least get your bonus back, but... Now they've done the deed. They're going to have money for the rest of this one, obviously.
And unfortunately here for Team Liquid at this point, as take a look at things with that.
2-op setup,
yep,
Adren and Nitro.
And this is interesting. Where do you think they're going to take this now on a map like Dust2?
We saw Adren obviously go for the entry on B. He found it because they were there quickly. This time he's looking toward mid, and if he can get a shot here and get an opening, then there's a really good chance that they can try and split onto the B site, but he hasn't found that yet, and it's Skadoodle who's still lurking in return. Flowsick did find the opening. There you go. Okay, so now they've got Skadoodle down. First off, that's a major threat that's been thwarting them, and they can have a lot more confidence in their map control, but now they've got a chance to try and split onto a site. In fact, where he's been shutting down Catwalk so frequently, well, let's go try it.
Freakazoid as well is going to be hanging out on Goose this time as they set up that usual smoke here. Remember correctly, he was able to get himself a pretty nasty multi-kill the last time he was here on a pretty big matchup. And Sean Garris as well, he's going to rotate into a position here to push out at the right time. And Nothing as well, he can get into that car spot to try and counter, but Freakazoid doesn't actually pick anything up. He's going to get dropped by Elise. Flowsick as well is going to find Nothing. And now Sean Garris caught out in the open, looking to find what he can at this point, but not having too much luck there. He's going to bring one of the players down pretty low, but that's it now as Elise goes for the peak, takes him down, and finally we see Liquid getting another round onto the board.
So good play from Liquid. Again, finding that early pick just made all the difference. And now that so dealing with Skadoodle is definitely one battle that you want to win. But they get the confidence to go toward Catwalk, and it was a good read because they know that was his default position. They go for a full smoke this time to get the crossover. Cloud9, so no chances to be had as Adren looks to pop through. But look at this early bounce flash from Elige, and he actually catches Freakazoid. They also place that smoke on the corner. Now that allows Freak, by default, a lot more movement toward Pit, so it's very obvious that Elige can take that shot as he comes out, limiting so much angles.
Liquid are actually going to capitalize on this, though, and take control of long after this play. They actually fall back to their usual positions that they take on upper mid right now. Fugly as well, working through lower tons. So they're just going to go back to what they started with after getting this early pick and maybe work towards Cat again, to be honest with you, because it seems like that's been working pretty well for them, and especially with the Dren picking up another op shot here, dropping Sean Garris, it's definitely looking good. However, Shroud is going to take up a forward position, and he is able to trade 1-for-1, but at this point now, being 2 other teammates down, it's definitely not going to help. Now we're in a 2-on-4 scenario. Nothing and Skadoodle as the last 2 alive, and the positions are not the greatest here at this point. Nothing still trying to flank Cat, and Skadoodle as well has been pushed out. He's going to actually join up with Nothing now, and they're both going to try to retake from there since it is obviously the last round, but Adren here, he stops Nothing, and Skadoodle completely off back over towards mid, so probably looking at Liquid picking up a 6th here.
And yeah, the double op setup looking absolutely great for Liquid when they actually brought it out. And it almost was like a last-minute play. They were so far down and out economically, and they said, all right, let's do it. It works. They do it for a second round, and again, it pays off. So finally cracking into that A site, and again, Catwalk was the play. It's just how things have been shifting lately. If you can find that opening, it's so easy to just split onto that site. So swap it over. 6 rounds only for Liquid on T side becomes a bit of an issue, and again, they did win the first pistol. Winning the second would just potentially knot this up at 9-9 first and foremost, but really up their chances because Cloud9 is definitely looking on.
Yeah, absolutely, and there was really very few mistakes coming out of Cloud9 from that half. A lot of the time, it was clever play that came out there from Liquid that managed to trick the Cloud9 players into unfortunately force peaking, and then as well we saw a lot of the times where we actually saw Liquid taking rounds, it was just due to these really good op shots that were coming out. It's a bit unfortunate that, you know, we talked to Adren earlier in the last interview, and he was kind of like, we don't really, I specifically really don't want to use the op that much, but it worked out great for them, and now we're going to get a replay on the screen here. Hopefully that sees a little bit of that, but this is actually a Cloud9 play right now.
This was actually, I mean, just highlights just the teamwork that Cloud9's using. 2 flashes just to make sure Freakazoid Freakazoid can secure those kills. The round at that point was essentially secure. They had the bomb site down. There was decent amount of time still, but they knew where the last two players were, but no chances. Cloud9, they just want to make sure they keep that economy rolling, and by staying efficient, why drop an AK when you can use a $300 or $200 flash? And
that's just that great teamwork we've been seeing more and more from Cloud9 recently. Again, like when they first got together, we weren't really seeing stuff like that, but since they've had time to really sit down, practice, and kind of perfect themselves a lot more, we've been seeing so much more of just that great play that you see from some of the top European teams. And unfortunately for some of the North Americans, they can't just match that as of yet.
And that's the other thing, too, though. Like, I asked Sean a little bit about potentially being burnt out in the first interview after this morning's match. And, yeah, I mean, that can definitely happen. So it's good if of course, they have to still do the task here of qualifying this weekend. But if they qualify for the major, it's good that they have a little bit of a break next weekend to reset, because there's lots of teams that put a lot of emphasis on boot camping before these events or playing too much before these events, and they just, everything feels great in scrims, and then it just falls apart so massively, and you get so complacent on one strategy that when it doesn't work, it's like beating your head against a rock. You're so stubborn. You just, why isn't it working? It works so many times. You get burnt out. You don't adapt well. So it's good that Cloud9's first had this return to form, but it's also nice to see them get a break before they potentially will be heading to Cologne.
All right, guys, and now we get started here with the second half. 9-6 at the moment with Cloud9 leading us as they switch over to the T side. Team Liquid jumping onto the CT. We'll see what they have to offer. And interestingly enough, they're kind of going to leave mid as an open door here. Nitro did fall back to the box just outside of B, but unfortunately unable to hold there as Freakazoid finds the opening frag. Fugly is able to respond, but he's the only one on B right now holding, and Cloud9 have that intel. But take a look behind them here. These smokes that came out, I believe, from Cloud9 players, they're going to hold them back as now we see Cloud9 moving in. They take control of B, but Team Liquid might just force this in quickly here to try and get back control.
And Elige wants to be the first to do so as that bomb's gone down, but Shroud, he's not allowing them any movement through the doorway, and Elige, as he has to fall off the window, he's going to meet the same fate as nothing comes through with the Glock. So really, really solid round from Cloud9. Definite authority on that B site.
And this is most certainly going to hurt the Liquid players just a lot more here as Cloud9, they just go right into the bias here. As we can see, Shroud goes fully for the AK Skadoodle as well, already going for the Scout. And we'll see the SMGs as well on Sean Garrison Freakazoid. That's what we normally saw. It's what we saw back in the Noble match, and we see this in a lot of their other matches too. This is now to build up the economy, and if they can get strong on T side before Liquid can put any damage onto it, then it's going to hurt.
And it's good that they went toward B, because what I mentioned in the first half as well, not having rifles on A, there's just too much vast space. Problem is coming through that tunnel, it's still such a tight choke point that Liquid are able to collect 2 kills up close with the pistols, and Elige trying to look for the flank on Shroud. Not successful. Bombs down, though. We'll see what Liquid, already with 2 kills, can do further to damage Cloud9's economy.
And that'll be Shroud again there with a good watch back over inside the tunnels. He does find that headshot to Flosig, looking out for the double flank, and he's going to find it. It's good as well, picking up the final frag with Cloud9 now pulling ahead. They did lose 2 players in there, so it was kind of an okay round for Liquid, but they're definitely wanting to do a lot more damage on those rounds, especially considering this is the T side for Cloud9 now.
I love Skadoodle spawn. Doesn't even have to walk far. So we'll see if they even do anything to stack or to indicate that no one's crossing. It's gonna be a late cross. There's the first to go over. And they're still 4 more stacked in mid though.
They're even holding at this point.
Yeah, there they go. They're all gonna cross over. So a late call based on the early presence at B to stack up the site. And Skadoodle had left over and hadn't spotted that cross, but still the bomb's going back to A. So they've got information now, and Freakazoid coming through middle will take Nitro and Fugly. And Cloud9 reacted perfectly to what potentially could have been a stack when they walked into B.
And that was an interesting strategy from Liquid. You could sit back and think about that. Okay, let's just sort of camp at middle, and then as soon as we see an indication of play at either site, we can just go all in on that one and try to stop them before they actually make the entry. They were definitely able to pick up, they were able to take out Shroud, and they almost got Freakazoid, but beyond that, unfortunately, Cloud9 sort of completely tricked them with the fake flash that came out back over there towards B, and they just rotated right over there to A. And unfortunately, because again, this was the eco round from Liquid, they took a risk on a play here, and it didn't really work out.
So up on either side, complemented by 4 rifles, the according rifles to each team, M4s and AKs, and Skadoodle looking for the shot this time. Again, getting the information on the first cross. Now, not that the second, but still not able to hit that shot through the door. So no damage dealt, a little bit of information gained. And Cloud9 can actually start the round off with a bit of a bias over toward A. Flosix there. He's gotten forward toward pit. In fact, he's in the corner. He's not even down below in the pit. And Elige is there to support. So it is sort of this 3-1-1 play, but there's a very loose mid presence right now because both B players are inside the site and no one directly on the opposing side of the doors.
Now with that smoke fading, they're going to get a chance if they should choose to peek through that and find that out, which could open up a very strong possibility for a mid to B play. And again, considering the 3 Liquid players are still really cut off here back over towards the A side of the map, it's going to take them a long time to get in there and support it, and Cloud9 might just easily get the bomb down. But I think they catch on to this now, and the rest of the Liquid players here, at least the 2 that were on B, are going to move into a better position to counter out a push through middle. but it does not look like the play is happening there. Cloud9, they're getting themselves up on a cat now, and they're going to line up for a push there. And Liquid set up here on the pretty usual spot. They got a Liege back over in Goose, so unfortunately he won't be able to help out as much as of yet, but Adren as well, back over by that car spot. He's going to be the key player here.
The important part is that they do have a second rifle, because as Adren, as they come around the corner, gets flashed, it gets forced further and further down the long alley. There needs to be a second player to just prohibit the entry and slow things down from Cloud9, and that player is going to be a Liege, but so far not able to collect a kill, so Bomb's already in position to get planted down, and all the kills going Cloud9's direction. Nitro can't do anything on the re-entrance from ramp, and that could have been taken so much swifter. Adren, he bailed out so early on long. Yeah, left it all to a Liege.
Yeah, and that was the big thing there. He pretty much abandoned his teammate a little bit, fell back, he got flashed, and he panicked there, ran completely away from that one. And
interestingly enough, though, we've still got a decent situation because Flow6 brought it back to a 2 versus 1 with 2 kills in the round. He baits out the defuse, but he's got a problem because there's a player to his right, and Freakazoid waits the initial potential for a fake as it was, and then goes for the peek before the defuse time was up.
And this is definitely starting to look a little bit drastic here for the Team Liquid players. Cloud9 up 13, only 3 more away from taking the map and dropping Liquid down into the lower bracket. Liquid as well, not going to be able to buy here, so they got to save for the 14th, and now they've got to come back so many rounds against Cloud9 at this point. To be honest here, Liquid, what's left for them to try and do?
Oh, what can they do when nothing's also opping now? And they gave it to him. That was a call because he had the spawn for long. They wanted him to find those entries, and now it's Freakazoid to follow up after he meets his demise, but it's only 2 players left from Liquid, both with pistols and both a decently long way away from the A-bomb site. One in mid, one in the bottom of the tunnels, and Sean Gares is just waiting for that rotation point from Nitro, so spotting him up. Doesn't hit the initial shot, but he will slow him down and deter his courage to move forward.
So we toss the molly out here now as we wait to see if Team Liquid want to aggress this, but not really looking like it. They sit back, and now we basically just have Cloud9 players close again. Nitro was able to find one more, but Shroud again there takes him out there with a nice nade toss, and now you got Fugly's the last one alive, stuck way back over here, just outside of the CT spawn, and he's just looking for any exit frags he could maybe grab at this point to put a dent into the Cloud9 economy when they go for the buy round in the next time.
And Fugly's about to meet his fate as Shroud followed in Sean Gares' footstep to take over that spot at top of middle. But as you said, there will be guns coming right back out, and they've got position to go for at least 2 ops if they wanted to, and there it is. They are going to go for it on the CT side. Adren and Nitro each picking one up. And there is a lot of potential play to have with 2 ops on the CT side. So Adren, he's going to go for the initial mid play. Where does Nitro head? It's over toward... He's actually going to go directly into B, so no op on A initially. Now it's going to be falling back from Adren as he didn't hit that first shot.
Nothing in Shroud, along with Freakazoid, will be the players looking to enter onto the B site there. Sean Gares actually way inside right now, working through middle. Has gotten that completely for free. Fugly taking a little bit to respond there, but he is actually going to be able to take down Sean Gares. Nitro as well, still holding off pretty well. He's going to pick up another shot and take down Freakazoid. Smokes as well, allowing a little bit more free movement here for the Cloud9 players, but now nothing picks out Fugly. Again here, Nitro though, how many kills is he up to at this point? Only takes out 2 before he goes down, but now they've brought this down into a 3-on-1 and nothing as well. Stuck on this site, no way out, completely surrounded by Liquid, but Liquid don't want to push them and take a chance on getting taken down, as they absolutely have to try and save money here if they want to have any chance of getting back into this game.
Yeah, makes the right call to swap to the rifle now because he's got to force the play, but Flowsick, nice shot as he reads nothing completely, and all the while there was also a flank coming in from tunnels, so Jordan didn't have a whole lot of time to work with. In fact, it's going to be a doubled score though still. There's Liquid only on 7 and Cloud9 on 14. They can just bide their time, and they've still got money to bring out at least 3 AKs. Op dropped as well. That's going to be picked up by Skadoodle, and AK was waiting for Freak to pick up, so everyone's got weaponry.
So this is going to be essentially the turning point here. This is an extremely important round. If Liquid can make it through this one and actually take it with minimal losses, then there is that chance that they can start to swing it back and get themselves up to at least sort of 10 or 11 points. But unfortunately, so little room for error here is definitely going to put all that pressure on Liquid, and now Flowsick as well. He does end up getting that trade there with an excellent shot onto Sean Gares. In that moment, though, they did end up losing Adren in the process, so now we are going to see the rest of Cloud9. They move over to Cat, and they're going to try to take control quickly, but there's a good amount of resistance coming out from the Liquid players, and now we see them moving in, but that smoke setup is going to give them so much mobility once again. Elise trying to find them, but they're already halfway through the site there. Another trade comes out. Elise picks up another kill, and nothing finds 2 as well. Takes out Flowsick as well as Nitro. Now it's all on Elise at this point, holding off this 1-2. The bomb is on the ground, but there's still a minute left on the clock, so he has to try and hold this off somehow with so much time left.
Easily done. Excellent kill initially on the player rotating back from long. Once he went down and Elise was completely trapped on the site, it was over. They knew his position. Bomb, yes, okay, it was down, but they still had the positioning to walk in on top of him. They had the utilities to hold him in place. And Cloud9 find themselves on match point against a very broken CT side. Double scout, it's almost like a second round force buy at this point. They've just got to be desperate and hope for the best with it. And they look for the initial peek with that scout shot, not able to collect on it. Nice flash over the top as well to forced Skadoodle out of position, so he couldn't take that shot.
Liquid getting really aggressive here too, and very mobile as well, as they are going to push 2 players and try to go for that fast cap maneuver, but doesn't really end up working out. And now they've gotten the spot. I believe that's Elige that manages to catch that before the smoke comes out. 3 players pushing up long. Great nade coming out there from Flowsick, and Flowsick again there with the 5-7 and a third, as well as he takes down nothing. Huge plays coming out from Flowsick and Liquid now. They've got a hold on this one. It's Skadoodle and Sean Garris, the last 2 alive. Haven't revealed the bomb just as yet, so Fugly is going to move into position, but Nitro coming out with the scout. He's going to drop Sean Garris, and now it's just Skadoodle left alive.
Insane. And I like what Skadoodle did there. He threw that op away so it couldn't be recovered, so at least they don't get that in the next round. He's just going to rush forward and see what he can do. Actually, he's going to be a little bit cheeky here because he's got the knife out, and is this just getting inside the minds of Liquid? But what a round. What a hold from them, considering what they started off with. Again, that jump scout coming into play, and the double from Flowsick really set the tone over toward that A site. So Ska just throws away the op. They know they've got a team save anyway, so why not?
That was an interesting move, though, to give him.
Flowsick told him to grow up, apparently.
That was, I mean, well, that's an interesting move, though, because you're giving them such a powerful gun for free. I mean, unfortunately, Team Liquid don't end up picking it up because I don't think they notice it. But still, at the end of the day, that was an interesting move to potentially give them such a powerful weapon. And now we're actually going to get started early here with the Auction Shroud coming out first. But Adren responds. Freakazoid again, though, drops Adren. And Cloud9 come out on top with the trade there as they, again, Flowsick, however, in a good position. He's going to take out. And Fugly as well will find another frag out of Sean Garris. Now it's all on nothing at this point in the 1-on-3.
Flowsick stepping up massive right there, using the Molotov because they had picked up 2 rifles, but using the Molotov so they can't push forward gives him the positional advantage, and then he mows them down as they don't have armor. Really good play, and he'll close it out with the hat trick. Very fitting for him in this round as he takes down nothing. But we'll go back to guns this time for Cloud9, so we're in a similar situation where we're just basically waiting for the 1 round to come their direction, much like we had Liquid against Tempo Storm on Cash.
And Liquid actually are going to bring out another op
this time around. They're going to save this too, so Cloud9's going to go for the double.
With the Dren picking up that up, we'll see where he can work this one and where we're going to see his position moved over towards. It looks like they're going to put him back over on the A site and put him in the usual car spot that Skadoodle likes to play back over on the CT side as well. But they will actually get aggressive with this one. They're looking for a push to come out through the long doors from Cloud9's end of things, and that may very well be where this ends up happening. Is currently 4 players about to stack themselves inside of that corridor, and leading the charge will be Sean Garris with the bomb, I should mention too. It goes down. Now they can rotate in this. Freakazoid will still maybe a little bit of a wild card here, but Liquid seem to have a pretty solid hold in this area, and they're not going to be able to reclaim the bomb either.
I like what Elige did. We saw that bounce smoke come out to allow the close quarter, but Elige just took advantage of it. Thanks very much. Now I can get closer to the doorway. I've got a rifle. Sean wasn't even through that smoke before he got taken down. So another flawless round for Liquid. I would say their economy is building, but it really doesn't matter. It's lose 1 round. It's not like you're going to buy the next one. It's all over.
It's going to be forced buys no matter what happens here from Liquid. And obviously, if they drop 1 round, then it's all over. I mean, they're at a point now where their money is in a stable position. They can get full nades, they can get full guns at this point, so they really don't have to worry about, you know, stacking up enough money from the previous rounds.
I mean, this double op has worked out extremely well for them again, so we'll see if they can have the same effect. Freakazoid getting very aggressive already through middle. Now, no smoke on CT. Fugly's above the box. He's spotted by Freakazoid, forces him to fall, but still there's no smoke, so Adren, he's able to walk out with the op, and Cloud9, utility's not in their favor in this round, therefore couldn't take control of middle as they wanted, and couldn't hit the shots either. So Nitro, he knows they're in B. He's just got to bide some time. Molotov will force his position. He doesn't hit the initial shot. Nothing's actually found Elige, so it brings it a little bit back in Cloud9's favor as the bomb is going to get planted. So this still has a chance for them.
Skadoodle is going to pick up another great shot. He finds Flowsick now, and we're seeing the players from Liquid. They're sort of forced into this play, though. This could very well be the end of it. Sean Garris and Skadoodle again coming out there with 2 more. Now it all goes onto the hands of Adren at this point. He is going to find a great shot, takes down Sean Garris, but he's trapped there. Nothing is going to be able to find the final shot, and with that, Cloud9 are going to take the map.
Really well done to recover that and take the bomb site away from Nitro, who didn't hit that initial shot. Forced out of the window. And that, I mean, that changes everything. Skadoodle hits 2 shots in tunnels. They get the bomb down. That was the bigger thing. They were in the correct position, so it wasn't like they got B control without the bomb being around. They had it there to plant immediately, and as soon as they did that, the round completely switched. Even if they had it forced to retake with the bomb not in position, Liquid could have played that a little bit differently, but the hand was definitely dealt by Cloud9 very well and very fitting. And considering they lost 2 in mid and still made that play work out perfectly without getting any trades, that's pretty impressive.
And overall, very solid play coming out there from the Cloud9 guys, as we would expect. Liquid as well, almost bringing it back there towards the end as they were able to bring out those very good rounds and very good counters to the strategies on what Cloud9 was bringing out. But unfortunately, things just got a little bit too far out of hands there in the first half, and they weren't left enough wiggle room there in the second half to try and bring it back.
So the initial bracket is set for Group A. We still have the lower bracket to deal with. So Tempo Storm will play against Noble. Winner of that will take Liquid, but Cloud9 are done for the day already. They move on to the semifinal, which again, it's a loose term. The semifinal, there is no final. Whoever wins either semifinal, they go straight through to Cologne. So they're essentially done. All they've got to do is win a best of 3 tomorrow, and they will be qualified for Cologne. The rest is still to play for. Group B this afternoon. Of course, we'll conclude the lower bracket from this group, which is still going to be pretty interesting. Tempo Storm will want revenge against Liquid, and I think they're more than capable depending on the map they end up playing. I assume Cash will be avoided when we get there.
Absolutely. So we'll have to see how that plays out when we get to that a little bit later on this evening. And again, that is going to be Noble taking on Tempo Storm, and then the winner of that will go on to face off against Team Liquid.
Yeah, and of course in the second group as well, just to preview Group B before we get there, it's really wide open.
Yeah,
again, you've got Maximum Effort, just got dropped by a sponsorship. Luminosity, same thing. I know Luminosity is a little bit dejected about that, and they definitely want to prove themselves in this event. And getting through this qualifier would be so good for both of those teams to look for new orgs. But that said, we've got the interview ready. It's Freakazoid with Jason Moses O'Toole.
All right, guys, here I am with Freakazoid of Cloud9 after their victory just now over Team Liquid. So you guys are through to tomorrow. My first question would be, you guys were down like 4-1 at one point, and then you just stormed back, and it was pretty much dominant performance for you guys from there. Like, what was the adjustment that was made at that point?
I think it was probably just more so warming up. Like, we were a little bit, it's cold in here kind of too. My hands are a little cold. Our team's hands are cold, but it was, yeah, it was burning. Now it's like we need a little mixture of it. But it was more so just warming up. We came in a little cold, and then once we kind of started hitting our shots, things started going our way. So it's just more so warming up.
Cool. Now, did that play out pretty much how you expected? Is that a map that, I mean, Sean talked earlier that you guys were looking for more open maps for gun battles. Was that something that you were looking those for Noble, or is that just every team right now you want to have some more gunfights for your team?
Probably more towards the gunfighting just because we have a lot of skill on our team. But, yeah, definitely it went well, the map, and maybe it could have gone better. We were just having fun, just kind of enjoying playing right now. And but, yeah, it went well for the map, and excited for tomorrow, whoever we play.
Cool. And, I mean, you guys, you're known as like this team with Sean as like this anti-strat who's always prepared. Now you come into these interregional matchups, which can always be trouble, no matter how, because you guys have been competing with Fnatic, Navi, and you come back and you kind of struggle sometimes against, CLG last weekend. Liquid put up some good rounds on you. Like, what is the struggle of those interregional matchups?
They just kind of have that confidence and kind of know how we play, so it's sometimes tough when they know exactly what we're going to do, and we kind of know what they're doing too, but it's just, and we just have a target on our head right now, so it's hard being the one on top and staying on top, but we're hungry and we're going to keep improving, but I'm going to be honest, I was most nervous about this LAN than any other LAN I've played at, just because like I know it's hard to be on top to maintain that high level, you know what I mean? Because last LAN we didn't have that high of level, so I was a little nervous coming in this one, and we're playing our game right now, and I have no doubts about it. We have full confidence right now.
Well, I'll let you go after that. Congratulations for making it on to tomorrow, and wish best of luck to you guys. And then just stay tuned because we'll be right back. Take a short break, and then we're going to have Tempo Storm versus Noble Gaming coming up next.